everyone, to another episode of the Definitive Crusade. I am your wonderful, diverse host, Johnny the Machine Hughes. How are you doing? Hope you're having a wonderful time. Joining me this week is Josh, who can't believe his eyes. I think he wants to pull them out with pitchforks or something. I don't know. It's like a batarang in his eye. Joker, Dark Knight Returns style, and pull it out. I don't know what's going on.
I think we need Judge Death to just gouge my eyes out with this mask at this point.
I'm just keeping it real. I'm keeping it diverse, man. I'm keeping it like equality rules.
I know, but I was not. You need to warn me, because before the show, when the screen came up and there you are, and I'm like, oh no, oh god, no, yep, yeah, your zipper was showing.
Yeah. I have to look there, double check.
Ruh-roh.
Okay, so the astute who are still able to look at this without going, oh my god, what the frack's he wearing, will notice that we're down a person. Freyja is stuck in the negative zone.
Yeah.
So it's just us for this week. We're going to go back a couple of weeks because a big book came out whilst we were taking our when Marvel had the news cycle through No Prize Podcast, and of course talking about I can't believe I have to do this, Dark Metal's Death Metal #1. Did I say it right? Did I get the title right?
Yeah, that sounds right, but
Dark
that's
Knight's
about it.
Death.
That's about as right as this book will get.
Okay, so written by Scott Snyder, art by Greg Capullo, inks by Jonathan Glapian, colors by FCO Placencia, and letters by Tom Napolitano. So, Josh, question for you.
Answer.
Do you like the music genre death metal?
No.
Like this?
No.
That's not your thing.
That's not music. That's like throw a screaming cat into a blender and away we go.
I have got a cat and I have got a blender.
I don't know. Does Mrs. Hughes really love the cat though?
Yeah, she does.
Then I wouldn't recommend that.
She loves the cat so much she was just gone and got a dog. So, woohoo.
Fair enough. But I don't know. That style of music never tickled my fancy. I don't understand 90% of it. I understand a lot more rap than I understand death metal, and so that should give you a pretty good premise of how I feel about this book.
My kid, I say my kid, he's in his 20s. He likes listening to Rammstein.
Okay, so I like Rammstein, but only one song, Du hast.
All right, so for me, listening to Rammstein and listening to death metal is exactly the same. I can't make out any words if it's in English or German, so hey.
Yeah,
so
I gotta be in a weird mood to listen to Rammstein, though.
So, tell us how you thought about this book.
I feel like this book was honestly made more for a reason for DC to come up with a new line of toys.
Oh, okay.
Because you look at the style of how Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman are. That's all I saw was, new line of toys. Kind of like the Dark Age toy line.
Oh, yeah. Okay, yeah.
That would be the only thing I see out of this. Aside from that, it was weird. I could not. No, couldn't get into it.
No.
But then again, the whole death metal music genre doesn't interest me, so it's hard for me. Where coming into this book, I'm not a fan of that type of music, and that's going to take away from my interest in the story.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
Because of that already disconnect from the genre of music.
Yeah, okay. I think this book. I've got a couple of problems with this book. First of all, I feel sorry for all the people who were buying Justice League books. You know, when Snyder took over, because when Snyder took over the Justice League, that whole run up to what is it, about 41, something like that, is a prelude to this story. All right, so that's 41 issues of setup. Now I know I've said in the past that Snyder likes playing for the long game. And he's great at setting up, but he's terrible at punchlines. But that's just taking the Michael. It's just taking nipples, you know. And also, I think the timing of it's wrong. So, cast your mind back. Already, we've had Dark Metals, which had umpteen different Batmans and other heroes, right?
Yeah.
Then we've had Snyder and Capullo on Last Night, which is a totally different Batman again in a broken future. And now we've got Death Metal, which is the DC characters in yet another broken future. Or you know, and I'm thinking to myself, if you don't like working with the characters, leave.
Mm-hmm.
It's like we've had 3 lots of like alternative types of Batman stories. Yeah. From Snyder and Capullo here, and I'm thinking to myself, the first time was I didn't particularly like Metals the first time around. Last Night was kind of interesting. This is just, as you say, bang on. It's noise.
Yeah, I did like the design of the map of the DCU.
Yeah, but
I see that, and I think of something like I'm playing Elder Scrolls Skyrim. I look at the map and think, ooh, that would be fun to play in a Skyrim. So if, for example, because I know that there are plenty of gamers out there who create mods for Skyrim, if you were to make a mod and have the DCU in Skyrim, okay, you got my interest. But that's about all I can pull out of this in a positive way, aside from the fact that I see that these characters are just designed to be a potential line of toys or action figures.
I think story wise, I'm not sold. Art wise, Capullo's great. He does really well. And you talk about the designs. The Wonder Woman, for example, looks great. In this book. It's just interesting how so many things, real life things, have affected this already. So with all the ongoing embroilment of certain creators, one-off stories like how the Batman Bat Dinosaur, that's been knocked on the head.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you kind of think, you know, I just wish DC had all the things in place, you know. They get these ideas and then they just run with it and then just make more out of it. And to be honest, what's the attraction? I honestly don't get it. I'd like just a straight up Batman story. Maybe it's my old man machine head going on, but I want a straight up Batman story. I don't need it to be super psychological or super edgy or, hey, look, this is what we've done new. But it isn't new. And we'll get to that in a little bit later. But
I was going to say that key component is the entire theme of the next book we'll talk about.
Yeah, so this whole Snyder-verse, no, it's, you know, if you're trying something different, Batman, the normal straight up Batman book, now that's an interesting read, especially number 83 when the tables get turned.
Yeah. The only thing that I worry about is if we get a straight up Batman book like we want. Okay. The probability that it's going to be Batman versus Joker, again, then it brings us back to the previous argument of why can't we have a Batman story with someone other than the Joker?
Well, it should be hopefully by the end of this year. I mean, this is the 80th year of the Joker.
Mm-hmm.
So you're bound to get a fair few issues, as always. But
is that why this year is already crazy as it is, because it is the year of the Joker? I mean, that alone would explain so much.
maybe. Do you say it? Because I mean, I like the idea of the three Jokers. I want to get to the bottom of that. I just hope things like the three Jokers pay off the way that Doomsday didn't. Because the Doomsday Clock was all about how the Rebirth universe happened. By the time we got finished with it, Rebirth was stopped and it was New Universe time.
Yeah.
You're like, there's no relevance to it. So, no, if you're a big Snyder fan or you're a big Capullo fan, get this book. If you're a big Metals fan, knock yourself out. But if you're looking for something that's going to be concise, enjoyable, for me, it's just blah, blah, blah.
Yeah. Kind of like the music just... But I do have to admit that this is a fitting environment for Judge Death. I mean, the Joker who left... No, it's Judge Death.
I've won. I've done it. Yes.
Well, how many shows have you corrected us on that?
Well,
enough.
Every time we talk about it.
It was back when TDC was still 2 digits in episodes.
I'll tell you how much I hate this character. I've got him on my Injustice mobile app. I won him for whatever reason, and yeah, he's still level 1. And no, I haven't upgraded him. No, I don't think I've used him more than twice.
So you know how NetherRealm Studios, they're the ones that make the Injustice games, so they've got a partnership with DC. They came out with a line of DC skins for Mortal Kombat 11, and Noob Saibot has the Judge Death mask. That's the only time I was actually okay with it, because it looks phenomenal on Noob Saibot.
I don't know who Noob Saibot is.
Sub-Zero's brother sold his soul, becomes a very soulless ninja, completely black, has a spirit twin, it almost seems like, that comes out of him. Yeah, crazy character. He's got some very disgusting moves. That makes the game so much fun.
So isn't Scorpion and Sub-Zero related?
No, so Scorpion and Sub-Zero are in rival clans. Sub-Zero apparently killed Scorpion's father. Scorpion wanted revenge, ended up selling his soul to become a spawn of NetherRealm, and there we go.
Cool. Right. Whilst Josh takes me to task about my lack of Mortal Kombat knowledge.
Better than DC Metal.
Yeah. Get over here. Why don't you listen to something that's a little bit more pleasing to the ear than some metal sounds? Of course, it's one of our fantastic ads for the UCPN.
Beyond the world of DC and Marvel, there is a world that opens the imagination in ways that you've never known. The world of indie comics is here, with comic books that you didn't even know existed. Thanks to Dodgy, Al Mega, and the random dude Josh, you too will have your eyes open to new books in the indie comic universe. Check out Flipside Focus, only on the Undercover Capes Podcast Network.
Welcome back to Mortal Kombat Takes on TDC. I am your host, Johnny the Machine Hughes, and Josh is here telling me all about how Scorpion can beat Almega's characters left, right, and center. Cool.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Next book is kind of an epilogue book. It's Batman, the Smile Killer, written by Jeff Lemire, art by Andrea Sorrentino, and colors by Georgie Belair. It's a Black Label book. It also features the letters of Steve Wands. Josh, this was your choice. Mm-hmm. So, talk to us about this.
So, you know how we talked about how we want to have a Batman story that's not kind of a rehashing of an idea that's already been mentioned previously. Well, this is that book where we see Batman fighting Joker. Batman's doing his thing. All of a sudden, come to find out that Bruce Wayne is locked up. He's the whole world of Batman is just something he's made up in his mind. But the interesting thing that I found in this was that in the speculation of that Bruce was supposed to be in Arkham and that Joker is, the main doctor over him. This time it's Dr. James Gordon.
Oh, okay.
And the reason why Bruce is in this mental facility was he had been watching this kids show. So go back to a young Bruce Wayne, and he's watching just one of those friendly kid shows. Friendly.
Mr. Smiles, isn't it?
Mr. Smiles. Yep.
Mr. Smiles.
And he's watching Mr. Smiles, and next thing we know, Mr. Smiles essentially is saying to take some scissors and right into his head. Martha Wayne catches him, stops him from doing that. But we come to find out that Thomas Wayne was shot from Bruce because Mr. Smiles told him to.
Okay.
And so Bruce obviously is very confused as to, he's trying to tell his mother, Martha, that, she was dead, their father was dead, he's alive, that he is Batman, all this stuff, and he needs to talk to Commissioner Gordon, like just completely goes off the rails.
Mm-hmm.
And to be honest, I'm kind of intrigued with this story because it took a twist that I did not expect.
Okay.
Young Bruce killing Thomas Wayne and being committed. I don't know. Story-wise, I'm intrigued.
Okay.
The artwork took a very interesting twist. It's not what I expected, and kind of like it.
Good.
Because
go for it.
If Bruce is in fact crazy and did actually do everything that they're portraying the reality version of him to have done, then it makes sense that the Bat world perception that Bruce has would obviously be skewed.
Okay. Yeah. I get what you're saying about the art, because the art goes from kid-friendly kind of that TV element when he's younger to like the dark and gritty stuff that we've seen before, the kind of things that we're used to seeing in a Batman book.
Yeah,
so I agree totally on that. I read this book and it read so much like an episode of Batman the Animated Series. The one where he wakes up and his parents are still alive. He's engaged to Selena, and he tells Alfred that he has to get down to the cave and all that sort of stuff, and no one believes him. It's not beat for beat as that, but it's that same vibe, that same loss of control, I guess, that loss of it. This is an epilogue book based following on from the Joker book that came out of the same ilk. I'm not sure there's anything more after this. This is just the kind of like that kind of peg in the sand for you to just sit and conjugate and let it fester in your brain a little bit.
Create our own little alternate reality.
Yeah. And I know there's been that internet theory for quite some time that Bruce is crazy and it's Alfred dressing up as all the characters in order to give him his sort of like sense of worth, I guess.
And his what was it? I think the mask that they have to put on him to restrain him happens to look like a bat.
Yeah. So all those things. I think it's good to see a Black Label book actually warrant its Black Label.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and people will say, "What's he banging on about?" Well, I read Birds of Prey Black Label book, and there's absolutely nothing Black Label about that at all.
Yeah.
I was like, "Why is this even?" You know, I don't know. I think the reliance of the whole idea behind it was kind of a little bit too similar for me to really get into it. I do like the style of the art. I like the juxtapositions between the two different realities, the young Bruce and the Bat Bruce. And I do like Jeff Lemire when he writes. He does some really good stuff.
So let me ask you this.
Yeah.
Is it better that this is just kind of a one and done story?
Yeah. I think so. I do, because I think if you explore too much of an alternative world, it then gets weighed down by its own continuity.
Yeah.
And
we've already had enough continuity issues.
Yeah. And the shock value loses its shock. It then becomes normal.
Yeah.
And the idea that this is kind of like that, this is like that slap in the face. It's like, and like, and you're shocked. Yeah. Eventually you're like, oh yeah. Yeah, Batman.
And then at some point, to reset everything, Barry has to. Damn it, Barry!
Oh, damn it, Barry!
Damn it, Barry! Okay, so that brings up a question, kind of changing tangents, but still somewhat related. Michael Keaton. I want to know what your thoughts are on the recent buzz with him reprising his role as the Dark Knight.
That's a really good. It's a really good question. I don't think my view is popular. I think everybody's like, everybody's like, whoa, it's going to be great. It's this, it's that. It's going to be great. It's it's a Batman and all that. But if it's old man Bruce, like the Batman Beyond type style Bruce, then I'm kind of thinking he's more Bruce Wayne than he's Batman. And Keaton's Bruce Wayne wasn't fantastic. And I also think that Batman and Batman Returns, of which I prefer Batman Returns,
so much better.
They are films very much of their time.
Yeah.
So you go back and watch Batman Begins, and Batman Begins still holds up now. Bear in mind, it's 15 years ago. 15 years.
I know.
I feel old. You watch Batman 89, and it's like, it's very much of that time period. And you kind of, I think, see, if they were going to do Old Man Bruce, I would have kept Affleck.
Or
aged up Christian Bale.
Yeah, I guess what I would have preferred is it's kind of the same thing. Do either an aged Christian Bale or go back to Batfleck, and go that route, and then leave Keaton in place to play Old Man Wayne for live action Batman Beyond.
Agreed, totally agreed. That would work.
Because then it validates both the Tim Burton movies in the continuity of everything, while not disrupting the timeline of the current DCEU. Well,
you know that the DCEU cinema world, that crashed the CW world during their crisis, right? So, and in one of the early episodes of Crisis, you saw
Alexander Knox.
Yeah, you saw Earth 89, as it was.
Yeah.
So
I had an issue with that because the bat signal that flashed in the sky that Alexander Knox looks at was not it was not the right bat symbol. And I had serious issues with that.
Okay.
I was like, if you're going to reference 89,
Yeah.
You got to have the right bat symbol. There should not have been any licensing issues at all. So I don't know why they changed that. So I don't know. That it was cool to see Alexander Knox and all of that, because I mean he was the comedic value of that movie.
Great.
You know, I think it would have done more damage than good having like Kim Basinger reprise her role as Vicky Vale.
Yeah.
So,
but I think, you know what, I think I don't think I'm blown away by the idea of Keaton in it as much as everybody else is. I can see that there's going to be some fun in it, but
yeah. Well, and what I was reading is the rumor is if he is cast that they'll go the route of Kingdom Come.
I don't know how I feel about that.
So I don't know, but you know, obviously it's speculation at this point. We'll just have to wait and see. I do kind of feel bad for Robert Pattinson though, because the Michael Keaton news just kind of pushed him to the wayside.
Well, he hasn't helped himself, has he? Because he hasn't kept in shape for whilst they've been on film and hiatus, allegedly.
Yeah.
You know, we'll see. When it comes to bad actors, I just kind of take it on the chin and just go with the flow, because I think because I'm going to see the movie anyway because it's bats. So
yeah. Well, and I want to see the new Batmobile.
Yeah.
The new Batmobile that we got the teaser of.
Yeah.
That alone, I was like, ooh, because it reminded me of the Batmobile from the animated series of The Batman.
All right, okay. The Batman.
So, yeah, there was a lot of Bat news.
I like that
stuff.
I'm liking the whole idea that they've got characters in Pattinson's Batman that aren't necessarily going to be the main focal point in the first film, but they're going to build to be.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like Penguin's going to be in there, but he's not going to be like front and center straight away. I like that, rather than just kind of like be Monster of the Week, which is how the other films have felt, with probably the exclusion of Begins and Rises, because there's a story there. But you know, it's interesting.
No, I like it, and especially with Penguin, you know, we've had a dedicated Penguin film with Returns. So I like the idea of him taking the background role, kind of like what they did with the Arkham games.
Yeah, and Gotham, the TV show.
Yeah. Although I think he had a bigger role in Gotham than he did.
Eventually.
Well, even you know, you look at seasons 1 and 2, Cobblepot was huge.
He wasn't the player that he was later on, though.
No, but he still had a pretty big impact throughout the show.
I like Gotham. I like Gotham a lot. Once you get past the first season, I like Gotham a lot. There you go.
Yeah, I had my issues with it, but I mean, it is what it is.
Right, back to books. All right, yes. So our last book is also Bat related. Batgirl, and this is number 46. It's written by Cecile Castellucci, art by Carmine Di Giandomenico. I hope that sounds all right. I actually got that right, I think. Colors by the fantastic Georgie Belair, and letters by Andworld Design. Before we talk about the book, which has been your favorite maintained social distance advert that's been in DC Comics? Is it the Superman and Wonder Woman? Lasso? Is it the Batman where he's whipping his cape at Damien? Have you seen any others of the other
I haven't. Those are the only two that I saw. I think I like the Batman and Damian one the most because obviously Batman's trying to maintain the distance and Damian's just giving him that look like, don't tell me how to live my life. Whatever, Father. If you knew what I know, you wouldn't make me do this. Because you can hear Damian say that.
Yeah, you can. Excellent. I will say that Tony Daniels' Wonder Woman looks gorgeous on her. On that
yes.
So well done, Tony Daniels. It's funny because I don't think I'm a big fan of his Catwoman. I don't know what's happened to his Catwoman, but his Wonder Woman is still on point. So there you go.
Yeah.
So Batgirl 46. It's been a while since we've looked at a Batgirl book.
And I'm seeing why.
Yeah, me too. I wouldn't even care. This is on my pull list. Batgirl's on my pull list. I can't believe it.
Well, I can't blame you because for a while there, it was really good.
Yeah. Bring back Meg, I can't say her name. Is it Meghead Scott? I think it is.
I think so.
Yeah. Apologies if I get the names wrong. I'm British. What can I say? I think Lieutenant has an F in it, but it doesn't. Lieutenant. All right. We like sticking Hughes in everything. Colours, favourites.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And so on. So go on then. Stay Gold, number 46, Batgirl book. What did you think? The letters were good.
Yeah, the lettering was good. To be honest, with how everything was going, that you have to have some sort of body thrown into this giant vat of gold. I was disappointed that we did not get a cameo from the Metal Men.
Yeah.
That would have made the book interesting.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's
got Batwoman in it. What more do you want?
I mean, the action sequences between Batgirl and Batwoman, that was cool. But then again, there were points where I felt like the anatomy and the bodies were moving in ways that just seemed odd.
Yeah.
And it was not. Yeah. I mean, those two panels where they're like side by side, and then all of a sudden they jump or twist and kick in ways, and I'm like trying to figure out how Batwoman all of a sudden completely changed 180 degrees to do this kick. It didn't make sense. It was off.
Yeah.
I must admit though, this particular style of costume for Batgirl is by far my absolute favorite costume of Batgirl.
Of all time?
I would put it up there with Yvonne Craig's.
All right, okay, cool. All right. I like the new costume. I like it a lot better than the Burnside one. I still like the new 52 one. Because it's Batgirl, I'm going to say I like Steph Brown's. Because it's Batgirl.
I know. I was gonna. I was sitting here preparing for the show, going, I wonder if we're gonna get through an episode without you mentioning Steph Brown. Nope.
It's like not mentioning fishnets. It's like,
So what you're saying is the ultimate combination would be Steph Brown in fishnets. I
have that picture. I'll bring it out next time I'm on this. Well, next time we do TDC. 13th
I'm not
Crusader,
surprised by this.
13th Crusader he went to a con in I think it was Boston a few years back, and he got an artist who said, "Oh, this artist that he really likes doing crazy stuff. Give me some ideas." I said, "All right, then okay, then." Steph Brown putting on some Batgirl. Steph Brown putting on fishnets, and that's what I got. He sent it across all the way from the States. So I'll dig it out for next show. There you go.
Okay.
Yeah, cool.
I I shouldn't be surprised that you have that, but I'm still surprised. It doesn't surprise me that 13 is the one that hooked you up with that.
Oh man, he was a good guy for that. I'll tell you this though, he didn't pay enough postage. I paid 25 quid for the postage.
Oof.
It's fine. It was a good picture.
So if there are any other DC artists out there that want to, for kicks and giggles, do your take on Stephanie Brown, putting on fishnets, tag us.
Yeah, I'm all for that. Back to this book. I'm going to say something controversial. I like the idea of what Giandomenico is trying to do here with a different style of art that you wouldn't normally see in a book. I don't think they're helped out at all by the story. With all that gold kicking around, it is just Geordie Belair is fantastic on colours, but there's just too much going on. It's like chaos personified in this book. I think the pacing's a little bit off in that. Do you remember watching Smallville? Did you ever watch Smallville?
Oh yeah, love Smallville.
Love Smallville. But season 7 through 10, it seemed like the action would stop on the 30-minute mark, and then you'd have 10 minutes of relationship stuff. Yeah, with Clark whining over Lana or Lois whining over Clark or whatever element.
Yeah. Well, I feel like, but in the first seasons 1 through 7, it was 20 minutes relationship stuff and 20 minutes action in that specific order.
I think I may correct you on this. I think it was. Are you ready?
Okay.
18 minutes worth of relationship stuff. 2 minutes of working out which character gets knocked out so they don't see Clark's superpowers. Then 20 minutes of action.
Spot on. Yep. Spot on. That is Smallville explained in 30 seconds.
Teamwork makes the dream work. But this is exactly what happens in this book. You get the page, and what is this, 24 pages in this book, and you get to page 18, and it stops. And they go on a date. Now listen, I don't mind when characters go on dates and stuff like that. But if you're going to do it, make the whole book about it. Don't try and pigeonhole it in.
Yeah.
Because it just feels kind of empty in that you've got that big massive fight all the way through it. Then you've got a few pages of look, isn't life nice and rosy? And on the final panel you've got the kicker ready to come in. So I would rather, if you're going to do that, don't try and half-ass the fans. Make the fight seem better. Elongate it so not every page is covered in yellow stuff.
Yeah.
Give us an issue where there's a full-on relationship and they can enjoy the day, and then give us the kicker to give us that massive impact. As it is, this book tries to do 3 things, and I think it doesn't do either one of them particularly well.
Yeah, no, I would agree. I think the last time I saw panels that had that much yellow in it was Batman and Robin, the Boy Wonder.
Of the All-Star Batman book.
The All-Star Batman book when Robin throat punches Green Lantern in the throat. and damn near kills him too.
See, I thought you were going to say you haven't seen this much yellow since you saw Gold from the Metal Man and Signal try and paint Bumblebee the Transformer. That's what I thought you were going with.
Oh,
that is a lot of yellow.
Plot twist. No, I remember the All-Star book where Batman and Robin paint themselves yellow and everything around them to prevent Hal Jordan from doing anything. Genius. Because I'm the goddamn Batman. Oh, God, that was the best line of that entire series.
I've got a couple of issues of that.
I have the entire run of trades.
No, I bought. What did I buy? I bought the Batgirl cover. There was a Batgirl cover where she's got like her hair pulled up in a ponytail and she's wearing the black suit and the yellow boots. I bought that. I don't like it enough to buy the whole thing. I buy it for some of the art.
Yeah, I mean, I had bought issue 1 because there were 3 covers. There was one with just Batman, one with just Robin, and then one with both Batman and Robin. So I have all 3 number 1s, and then I bought all the other trades the week that they would come out.
Oh, okay, cool.
So,
no, it's one of those books that do you know what? I'm going to be honest. I'll say something sacrilegious here. I bought the book originally so I could cut the cover off and stick it in a frame. It cost me £2 whole.
Yeah.
And I think if I bought the ones with Canary, I'd probably put some sort of montage with the panels in and just stick that in. Because
Canary was designed so well in that, and Vicky Vale. Yep.
Oh dear. What do you wear when you go out on a date with Bruce Wayne?
You know that that 2-page part was phenomenal. It was absolutely phenomenal because that's exactly what she would have done.
Yeah, it was really well observed, and you've got to think, and this is probably my knock on Frank Miller is sometimes he can write so well, but he gives in to his lesser demons.
That's okay.
But,
you know, the other thing I enjoyed about that book was after the car crash, the way Alfred is holding Vicky Vale, and we see Alfred just ripped.
Like me in my Wonder Woman onesie.
Yes. Exactly. And you know what it was? Vicky Vale is also a redhead in it. I married a redhead, so I mean, I like redheads. Guess that explains why I like Batgirl. And Poison Ivy.
Everybody likes red.
You can never go wrong with the redhead. Unless you get on their bad side, then it's not so much fun.
I went out with a girl called Wendy Lawson. I say I went out. We were at school. She said she liked me. That was going out. That's cool. And on that note.
And like DC Metals, we're going to drop that.
We were 40. To be fair, she ended up being a really good friend. A really good friend.
Well, that's good.
She went to one of the NFL games over here, and she reached out on Facebook and said, "Oh, I've got this program for this Super Bowl from this NFL game. I know you like American football. I'll just send it to you." I was like, "Okay, cool." I hadn't spoken to her for 20 years, and she was still thinking of me. So, she's a good friend. So,
well, that's awesome. That's awesome.
Right. So 3 books, a chat about Mortal Kombat. So Michael Keaton thrown in there. Yeah. Fishnets and Stephanie Brown. All in all, it's been a damn good show.
Absolutely.
Excellent. Yeah. All right. So hang with us again in 2 weeks' time when we get to go through some more DC books. Hopefully DC will get the act together and we'll get them in plenty of time. Probably not. DC, goddammit. I'll tell you how bad it is over here. Catwoman 80th anniversary book arrived in the country last Wednesday.
Wow.
That's how bad it is. Wow.
You know, I feel like I should just go pick up a couple books that came out this week and just send them to you, and they'll get there before the distributors will.
The flip of this is that Diamond have made a pact with DC to make sure that they continue to ship to the UK all the way through the rest of this year. So we'll get the books eventually once the schedule kicks back up.
Yeah, eventually. But I think if I ship you some this week, you'll still get it faster than what Diamond would.
Yeah, I just don't trust you to ship me stuff because you'll probably send me like 2 copies of Death Metals or something. All right.
No. I would honestly probably send you some indie stuff. Because, I'm part of Flipside Focus as well, so.
I love some indie stuff. I'll tell you what, I'm going to have to join on Flipside because I do see a lot of indie books, so I'll have to jump on one time.
And there have been some pretty epic books as of late.
There's some really good ones.
Mm-hmm.
There's been some really good ones, definitely. All right, so there you go. That's the end of this show. Don't forget to check out Flipside Focus to get all those excellent indie books. Don't forget to check out No Price Podcast for all your Marvel stuff. And of course, OTP is up and running again. A couple of creators. We'll talk about indie books from Ahoy Comics. Go and check that out. A couple of really good interviews, I thought. The Tom Payer one especially. And that's it for this week's show. All that's left for me to say, as always, is adios.